We continue today in these early passages. We're still in chapter 1 of Mark's Gospel, helping us during this season, if you will, of Epiphany. That Epiphany is not just one day, but is actually really a season of the church that we find ourselves in now. Beginning with the Epiphany, that we always think of traditionally as the revelation of the Magi, but through all these different early encounters of people with Jesus. And today's story from Mark is very helpful that way, right? Because here we are in Capernaum, basically Jesus' hometown, if you will, at that moment. You know, he and the disciples were living in this house in Capernaum. And as they were wont to do, they go to the synagogue. And when Jesus goes to the synagogue, he teaches. Right? And the people there were astonished, as it says, because he teaches with authority. What does that mean? And of course, we find out in the story. And it comes from the evil spirit, the demon, right? The demon knows what's what, right? Indeed, the demon reveals who Jesus is, because the people knew him as Jesus of Nazareth, right? Jesus of Nazareth. But what does the evil spirit say? I know who you are, the Holy One of the Lord, of God, rather, the Holy One of God. Right? The demon knows who Jesus really is. And Jesus casts out the demon. Tells him to shut up and go away, basically. And this is important, which the evil spirit does. Right? Why? Because Jesus teaches with authority. Right? He teaches, he speaks, but he also lives. And how he lives and what he teaches are always in sync, are always integral. He has integrity, you might say. Right? When we hear that word authority, maybe integrity is actually a better word. But what is that? But there's a subtle point here, right? So he's a powerful teacher who is powerful, right? He's a powerful teacher who is powerful. But what about this power? Right? Very subtle point, but very important, right? How does Jesus use his power? Now, he certainly doesn't use it the way that I would, right? If I was getting challenged by the scribes and the Pharisees, and if I had God's power, they would probably disappear, right? That's not what happens, right? Jesus always uses his power in service, in love. Right? And therefore, this teaching with authority is incredibly profound, because the way he lives, the way he exercises his power, teaches us what he is the teaching. Right? He's realizing the scriptures, for example, all those prophecies from the Old Testament. He's making real through the way that he lives, not just what he says. It's easy to just talk. Talk is cheap, right? And we live in a world that is overwhelmed, it's flooded with talking, right? But not a whole lot of authority. Not a whole lot of authority. Because oftentimes what people say and what they do are two different things. They lack integrity. They lack authority. Right? I'm sure, if you want example one, I would raise my hand, right? What I tell you people to do, I often don't do, right? And if we're all honest, we could probably all say the same thing. Right? But we have a goal, right? We have the prototype, who we are to be. As we've said before, Jesus reveals not just who he is, right, which is God, right? He's not just Jesus of Nazareth. He is the Holy One of God. That's very important. But he also reveals who we are called to be. He also reveals what it means to be truly human, as we were intended to be before the fall. We were intended to be people of integrity. Right? What we believe and how we live should be united. Now, again, that's really easy to say, very hard to do. But we seek out God's grace and help to do the best we can, right? To seek to be people of integrity. We ask the Lord to help us with that. And as we continue in this season of revelation, that as we come to understand not only who Jesus is, but who we are, hopefully that can inspire us to take up that noble quest.